Hey gang, John Baccarelli here, Sportsmen's Direct with your Lake St. Clair fishing report. We're going to be changing things up a little bit going forward. We're going to be getting involvement from as many people as we can to get you as many of different perspectives, a broader perspective on what's going on out here on Lake St. Clair. So in the future, you can look forward to hearing from people like Tony Yancey, our local pro out here, Joe Bauer, another local pro, some charter captains like Steve Jones, who's been fishing out here since I was a kid. We're going to hear from people like Jason Quintano on muskies. Let's see who else we're going to have. We're going to have some shore fishing reports from guys like Trevor Larson and from guys like Nick Zamesta, who used to work here. We're just going to really try to mix it up and give you guys as broad a perspective on what's going on out here on the lake as we can. Just a little update right now, I guess, on things that are going on out there. We're in a real fall push here now. I mean, you guys, if you've been outside in the last 24 hours, you know it's dropped like 20, 25 degrees. That wind is blowing hard out of the west, which is really cleaning the water up out here on the lake, but it's also going to really push these water temperatures down in a hurry. Wind chill really does have an effect, even when it's not wintertime. Like right now with this wind, it's like 49 degrees outside right now. We're blowing at about 15 miles an hour, and it is sucking BTUs out of that lake really fast. So these fish are really going to start moving into their fall pattern. If you guys have been perch fishing, you already know that. You know, from 9 miles south, I mean, the guys have really been putting a herd on some perch, and I'm hearing really great size. Anywhere from 10 to 12-inch fish is not uncommon at all. Not hearing big limits of fish, but we are hearing about really good catches with boats, 50, 60 or more fish in a half day out there, which is great. Emerald shiners has been the ticket. There's still guys using worms too, but I think emerald shiners is probably going to be the bait going forward here for a lot of guys. You can drop shot plastics out there if you feel like it. Especially if the bite is hot and heavy, that'll work as well, and then it'll probably, you won't have to do as much culling if you throw in some plastics into the mix. As the water cleans up, and these fish move shallower, you are going to want to start using slip bobbers. You will definitely get your bigger fish away from the boat using those slip bobbers. And I haven't seen too many guys doing it. Most of the guys are still mudding and using your more traditional perch rigs and drop shot rigs. But bear that in mind. As these fish move shallower, you're going to want to switch over to start using those slip bobbers for the bigger fish. Now, with that said, you can expect to start seeing some of these fish out here, and I guarantee you they already are out here in front of Metro, out in front of Geno's in those weed beds, 400 Club, down by the Mile Roads, there's going to be pockets of fish out in front of Masonic. Everybody's really focusing on that bite down there by 9 Mile, but I guarantee you there's fish out here right now. Same thing up on the north end of the lake. There has been a pretty good bite going off of Selfridge over by the barracks. And I would imagine you're going to see the same thing there too up in those weed beds as you push up around Cotton Road. And so for the shore guys, you're not going to be left out on this at all. The spillway right now with all that runoff that we had, I guarantee you there's fish in there right now. The water's cleaning up. It would be a good bet to get out there and try some perching in that spillway. Same thing with the Clinton River and even all your other nearshore fisheries. That boat launch over there at Selfridge, the same thing happens down there as what happens on the spillway. You get big rains, it pushes out through that canal with that drainage ditch, and it just pulls those fish right in off the lake. So don't be afraid to shore fish down there and try for those perch. The walleye, not too much action. I don't think a lot of guys are not targeting walleyes, except maybe up on the St. Clair River. The jigging is starting to get going again. Just like your spring fishery, guys are using those 1-ounce jigs and plastics. There's a lot of big emerald shiners right now as far as what the shops have for bait. So as the water cools off, I guess don't be afraid to tip them with shiners if need be. But with the numbers of fish that we have out there right now, I really don't think you're really going to need to tip them. See, what else do we got going on? I'm kind of new at this, guys, so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to really start involving a lot of other people in the fishing reports. Being on camera, on video is really not my forte. And I really kind of want to mix it up with a lot of other people's perspectives, just not mine. If there's things to add, I'm definitely going to add them in on our reports, but I'm not going to be the primary source of information for you guys. Panfish action. That's really starting to heat up in the marinas for people that do have access to get into some of these back bays and marinas. The crappies are going. I know we've had guys coming in. They are catching some really nice crappies. The bluegills are starting to go again. Big thing for that is going to be when you guys can really get access back to these marinas. And generally that happens around November 1st when dock fishing officially starts out here, and that's when all the boats are out of the water, and the marinas, the few of them that do allow people to fish in them, will allow you to go back in there and fish, and you won't get bothered so much. Same thing with if you're going back in there with kayaks, you're not going to get hassled and harassed so much when the boats are all out. For the bass guys, and I mean we got a ton of guys up here for bass right now. The bass is a little bit tough right now. You're going to catch some big fish out there, and right now most of the activity out from us has been in about 16 foot of water. But again, as the water cools off, and it's happening really fast, you're going to start to see more shallow action taking place. Now I will warn you, there is a tremendous amount of bait fish out here right now. Off the point at Metro, it is just stacked with emerald shiners and shad. So, which brings me back, I was talking about walleye. Guys, the short fishing for the walleye, because of all these emerald shiners and shad right now, it's already going. You know, normally that good short fish and the night bite for the walleyes doesn't get going until usually a little later in October, but it started earlier this year, guys. And with all that bait fish in there, we're actually getting guys that are catching fish during the daytime hours, middle of the day, getting some decent walleye, even off of the point here at Metro and back into Black Creek, which is inside of Black Creek, that's just nuts. I mean, that doesn't happen. So there's a lot of fish out there. So I know they've been using blade baits. They're throwing bombers. You know, one of my favorites is throwing like rapalas, either jointed or countdowns when you're trying to get down a little deeper, especially when that water dirties up a little bit and the fish are more, hugging the bottom a little bit more. But right now the water is crystal clear, so you can pretty much just pick the bait you want to throw. Going back to the bass. So again, I'm not good at this. I'm new at this, guys, with the video, so bear with me on it. But I would be focused out in that 16 foot of water out here right now, but expect it to change and to change rapidly over the next few days. There's still fish up by the firecracker. Guys are drop shotting. They're throwing tubes. Those are your two primaries out there. There's a tournament. I think there's Monster Quest going on this weekend out there, so there's going to be a few guys out there. It's not going to be real busy. You don't have all your Go Fast boats. Those folks are pretty much done. They're pulling their boats out. Focus on your major transitions and expect these fish to start moving shallower. You're going to get a few fish here and a few fish there. You might go for lengthy periods of time without catching fish. Just keep moving. Use your electronics and track those fish down. But they are going to be on the move and they're going to be chasing bait fish. And talking to a lot of the guys that are fishing perch down in that 9 mile area, really expecting them to be telling me that they're picking smallmouths up, and they're not. But I do think there's fish down there, but I also think that there's just so much forage that it's just, the bite is probably going to be off on them. So I would be focusing on the smallies a little bit further north up this way, up towards the point, and then all the way up by that firecracker where the south channel's coming in. That's the report for this week, guys. I promise you it's going to get better as we involve more people. I know I've left some people out that are going to be on that list that you're going to be hearing from. We're going to be adding people. We're probably going to be talking to some other shops in the area as well to get their perspective on what's going on. And we'll probably have some walk-ins as folks walk into the shop. If they got off-the-lake reports, we're going to add those into the reports as we go. And of course, as we get closer to that ice fishing season, we will be keeping an eye on those water temps and on ice formation, although I know it's pretty early for that because we're only in October, and I don't expect to see anything in that arena until late November. But just wanted to let you know that is still going to happen. So thanks for stopping in and checking with us, and we will see you in a few days, probably about a week.
That's a fathead shark minnow. Look at it. You can't fish with these stupid. Look at these. You got minnows that are this big. They're no good. They're no good. No good.